Levelution was a trend started by Optical around 2018, with the main idea of it being to make simpler levels but more creative. To many people this seemed like a pretty good idea, as it would take less time to make levels, and people thought, since you're focusing on creativity rather than how well the level looks, the so-called generic levels back in the day would disappear, rightfully so. However, a bit later, a lot of people disagreed on this trend and calling it outright bad. This made two teams, the ones supporting the trend and the ones not supporting it. In the end, the trend just kinda died, and we can pretty much say that it was a failure and nothing ever big happened to change the level system, or from something different that we know today. But why? Why did it fail? After all, it was started from one of the biggest creators at the time and had a huge amount of potential. Today I will be discussing exactly this, why Levelution failed and what could have been done differently. When Levelution started, we were suffering from a massive problem in the community that just wouldn't go away: generic levels. Generic levels were thought to be even worse than the 9 Circle series, that many people to this day say that they're the worst type of levels to exist in GD. Many people were trying to find solutions to this, like telling Robtop to somehow stop rating them, but as Robtop needs levels for his game to continue, this wouldn't be the best solution for him. So all that was left was the community to either stop them or do something else. Optical had the idea of making a trend that would make people make levels with less objects and less times. However, they had to be a lot more unique. A lot of people found this like a great idea. We can make more unique levels, generic levels will no longer be a thing, and what's even better, Geometry Dash can run in any device without having to lag. Of course though, this has many disadvantages and flaws, and this sparked the question: isn't making levels with less time, less objects, making us put less effort into our levels, which is what generic levels are made with? After this question rose up, some people like Querwin shared their thoughts on this and why it's not as a good idea as Optical made it out to be. This made people believe that this trend would just only lower the standards and more generic levels would come out. After people realized this, they quickly turned their opinion and shared their thoughts on this and why it's a bad trend. However, some people did find interest in it, such as Felixram and other small creators who made levels based on it, but they weren't any better than the levels we had at the time, which made people think that this trend was useless. Inevitably, the trend started dying as it was thought it would do more harm than good. But why? Why would it do more harm than good? Wasn't it supposed to be a good trend? Well, yes, but it failed on many aspects. There are quite a few reasons to why it failed. The main reason is that people would use it as an excuse to make lower quality levels, as the trend states that you have to use less object, therefore taking less time. This would damage the rating system, as many new creators whom their main motivation is CP would use this excuse to make lower quality levels, but to make them faster so they could just get their first CP. However, this isn't the only reason Levelution failed. Optical didn't really explain Levelution all that well, meaning people basically took the low object count statement and thought that was it, without bearing in mind that the level shouldn't lag to most people and that it had to be unique. A lot of good levels came out from Levelution design-wise, such as the Lost Existence, which used the objects very well throughout the 5.5 minutes and had some pretty memorable parts that stand out. However, I do think the bad outnumbered the good, which led to people believing that this trend is a failure and nothing ever good comes out of it. But even so, the trend had potential, but what could have gone differently so it may have even succeeded in its main goal. First of all, Optical mentioned a lot of these so-called problems in GD, but they weren't really problems. For example, he said this would help get more levels in GD, and stating even further, the more levels the merrier. I do think this just kinda damaged the trend straight away, because it pretty much says quantity over quality, which is something we definitely don't want to see. Plus, we have enough levels already in GD, and thousands of new levels come out each day, so I don't think it's a big problem. Maybe he could have removed the statement completely or just added this as an extra bonus the trend gives. Another thing he said is gameplay. To be honest, this is kinda stupid, as you can focus well enough on gameplay with focusing well on design. Especially consider you build your layout first rather than the level's design. If I was Optical, I would have just stated that in #Levelution you have to have good gameplay. Since you're taking less time on the deco, at least take extra care for the gameplay of the level, which will sort of make up for the little decoration the level has to offer. The last thing he mentioned is more activity in the creating community. While that may have been true, I think the actual way for activity in the creating community is improvement through creating. If everyone just makes new works but are lame and boring, there wouldn't be much to talk about. I think Levelution would have a lot more potential if it were not only to be less objects, less time, and that it would have a certain standard for it. Let's say a Levelution level would be one with 40k objects or under, as that is the limit, and it would have to use its objects very wisely. And it had to be unique, or else it's not considered Levelution. To be honest, Levelution had potential, but a few things mentioned above made it fail. Basically, the wording of some things and the mention of lowering standards made it seem like a terrible idea, and the GD economy would suffer, as more low effort levels would come out, and generic levels would start being the ones that are #Levelution. Anyways, that is basically for today. In conclusion, Levelution had its potential, but some of the choices it made a bad idea, and to be honest, I think it's kind of good they didn't get as big, because I strongly disagree with some of the things Levelution was supposed to fix. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the discussion I made. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Also tell me down in the comments below what you'd like to see. Anyways, have a nice day, and goodbye!